Hi, my name is Annette Short. I'm going to do an interview about vampires and more into like the genre and why people enjoy it. Okay, so right now I have Hannah. Hannah, say hello. So are you familiar with vampire lore?
Very little. Like, I'm mainly familiar with Twilight and like the original Dracula film, but that's about it.
Okay, so perfect, because that was going to be my next question was like which one do you know of? So that's great. So since you've seen Twilight and you've seen like the original vampire or Dracula, why do you think vampires now are so romanticized?
I think it's because they're just kind of cool, you know. Like,
So it's just like people a part of that I guess community that just like
yeah, and like I think a lot of people, like especially people who are part of like goth subculture, really relate to it and draw inspiration from like the style. So that's probably also part of it.
So, saying that, when do you think it shifted from like spooky, creepy, like ghost story to what it is today?
I feel like probably sometime in the like 90s, early 2000s when like goth subculture really became
And like
more
grunge?
mainstream.
Yeah, I get that too. My last question is kind of more of a silly one. Who do you think would win in a fight, a vampire or a wolf?
I don't know. I feel like maybe a wolf, just because they have more like brute strength.
Yeah. I feel like werewolves have that. Awesome. Well, thank you, Hannah, for letting me interview you. Okay, sweet. Yeah. So now I have Kayla. Kayla, tell me, are you familiar with any part of the vampire lore?
Possibly a lot of this, maybe. Yes. Yes.
Okay. If you are, tell me what you're familiar with. Like it could be mainstream, it could be like old, like the vampire, like the original book.
Mostly familiar with movies like Nosferatu, the Twilight series, and Queen of Memphis. No, I can't say Queen of the Night. It's a name.
Oh, well, if it's a name, if it's like part of a
Queen of
book.
the Damned.
Oh, yeah. No, you can say that. That's fine. Okay, so you have like a much broader. Okay, so seeing all of that, especially Nosferatu, and obviously Twilight, everyone's familiar with Twilight. I'm more familiar with like Vampire Diaries and stuff like that. So, explain to me, when do you think that it shifted from like spooky ghost story to like love interest, and because it definitely took a weird shift from like scary story you tell in the dark to like Dracula more specifically, where he became like this heroic type figure, and like I don't know, women just like throwing themselves about. When do you think that shifted?
I would say we're from the era of like Queen of the Damned when that came out, and then like when Twilight started happening, and all these teenage girls were like,
So like,
so right around then.
so like, why do you think?
Why?
Is the other question. Yeah. So like,
Because everyone was romanticized, and a lot of people found out like, oh, well, I have this creepy crush on this vampire. You have this creepy crush on this vampire. It's like a cult, basically.
yeah. Okay.
So like more people came out about it because they were like, oh, it's not as weird as I thought it was. But I like vampires.
I feel like something also shifted. Well, okay, we have Elvira. Like
Yes.
that was also like
Maybe,
the
like,
not romanticized, but like
Six and type.
yeah. So it's just weird how it went from I don't know, really creepy like the way he's like lurking in Nosferatu.
Sparkly, I'll kill you.
Sparkling, and this is the skin of a killer or whatever. So, interesting. Okay, so my last question is, what is your favorite power that vampires have?
Favorite powers?
I'm struggling. I'm doing Dracula.
I like the mind reading.
No. I like their ability to shapeshift. Okay, so we have a little bit of a area change. Obviously, I'm at home and not at a Starbucks. But this is Alan, and so we will proceed with our interview questions. Okay, so Alan, tell me what you know. Also, this is Clary. She's a special guest. Tell me what you know about vampire lore. Like, what is your knowledge of that?
You talking about vampires?
Yeah, like, what was your first experience with vampirism? What was it, like a movie, a book?
It was a movie. I guess you could say Twilight.
Twilight? Everyone has said Twilight, but I guess that's like, I don't know.
That was with you though. I mean, that's the first time I've seen it.
Yeah. So, okay. But you have no, like the older stuff.
Well, Dracula, I guess you could say.
Okay, so same. I didn't have a lot of, like, extensive knowledge about that.
Yeah.
So because of that, like, obviously you know about Twilight. The main question I've been asking is, when do you think it became weirdly romanticized? So, like, you know how Twilight's very, like...
I guess you could say, like, what movie?
When do you think it shifted, like, in history?
I think when Twilight came out, they kind of made it more of a romantic type thing.
And less of, like, a spooky movie?
Yeah.
I feel
Instead
that.
of, like, a vampire being, like, an evil person.
Yeah. I kind of feel that, too. Especially with, like, you have Vampire Diaries, which I think is more of a TV show than, like, a movie. But you have Twilight, you have, I was going to say a zombie movie, but that's a zombie movie. So why do you think it did? Like, do you think something in society shifted it? Like,
I think it's time for a change. They just wanted to change and see what they could get away with.
See what they could make money off of?
Yeah.
It's just a Hollywood thing?
I guess because the younger crowd, they're like the romance type thing.
If you think back to, like, other... if you think back to other vampire stuff, like older books, movies, a lot of it was based around, like, what was happening in society. So, like, plagues, death, scary, you know, all those things. So, like, I guess maybe now it's not so bad because we don't have all of that happening.
Yeah.
So they just changed it into something romantic?
Probably.
Is that what you think?
I think so. I think they just kind of changed it up because it's sick and tired of the same genre. You know, the same, or I guess you'd say genre, but I guess the same.
Like myth.
Yeah, the same thing over and over again. 'Cause, I mean, you produce the same thing over and over again. I don't think it's going to, you know, give better outcomes every time.
But then to what point does it become, like, it's no longer Dracula or it's no longer a vampire? This is just something made up, you know?
No, they change it up.
Yeah, I feel that.
They add little things here and there to kind of spice it up, I guess.
Okay, so my last question is, what is, like, vampires obviously have been throughout history known to have, like, different powers.
Yeah.
What is one of your favorite powers that they have?
Oh, well, I guess you could say eternal life.
Eternal life?
Yeah.
Okay. I feel like that would get lonely.
Well, I mean, it could be.
I
yeah.
chose, like, shape-shifting. You know how they, like, turn
into a bat, yeah.
Well, in earlier ones, they actually shape-shifted into other animals.
I know
Like,
that.
like, kind of like witchy, kind of.
Yeah.
I think it, like, fell on the line of that. But shape-shifting, had someone say mind reading.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe that's cool.
Eternal life does seem cool, as long as I had someone to do it with me, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you so much for your time, sir.
Appreciate you.
Thank you. Pleasure in business.